Hello folks, I am back with the firearms comparison. I said in a previous video that I would be doing a comparison between the CZ Scorpion as well as the MPX. And I started a little backwards because I wanted people to see the differences in the breakdown of these particular firearms and what would be convenient and what would not be convenient for those who are deciding to purchase it based on simplicity of putting these parts together for disassembly when cleaning. Let's start with the CZ since that seems to be the easiest one to deal with. As you see, this is CZ Scorpion. I broke it down. All you have to do basically is here's your upper receiver with your handle that's already attached, and this is your bolt right here. This is your large bolt that comes back. This is a blowback type of bolt here. And right over here is your trigger group. And you all know your trigger groups here, what helps it out to function and so forth. That's basically it. Your barrel is internal in here. If you want to do anything later on in the future with this, let's say decide to put a suppressor on it. This comes with a 1/2x28 thread, and there's your cover, your flash hider that does come off, and then you could add a suppressor. I'm not an expert on suppressors. I just know from other videos and from what I see about suppressors. I have no intentions of suppressing. But yeah, this is what you see. It's easy to break down. You take it apart, and you put it right back together after you're done cleaning. Now, with the MPX, it's a little more involved because this is based off of a AR-15 platform. Now, just looking at the receiver portion. Now, here's your receiver portion. As you know, this is the internals, similar to our AR-15 trigger pack there. Also, now, I didn't take this part off yet. Basically, it's still fairly new, so I didn't want to fight with it too much because I wanted to get this video out. So basically, you take this part off. This is your upper portion, and it's for easy cleaning here. All you have to do when this upper is detached, you can run maybe a snake through here to clean this and do your proper cleaning with this. Like the CZ, I don't know what the thread count is for this. I do believe it's 1/2x28, but don't quote me. But this is made so you can just take that off and put a suppressor on here. There are several different barrel lengths for this. So, you can add different barrels here. Now, moving down further, outside of this, it gets a little more involved at this point. Now, this is your charging handle. It's an ambidextrous charging handle. And over here, this is where it gets involved. That's a little bit different from your regular AR-15s. This is a dual spring, capture dual spring. What you would have to do is you would have to take this part off, and you can either take one of the assemblies of the springs off or both assemblies. Outside of that, you have your bolt carrier right here. This is where it's called your firing pin retaining spring, retaining pin rather. This holds your firing pin. I don't know if you can see that, but that little shine right there, that's your firing pin, and you could take that out for regular maintenance and cleaning. And then, there's the other part here. Darn, I'm drawing a blank on it. This piece right here, I believe it's, I'm drawing a blank. Sorry about that. But this particular part here, you have to take that out. And you take that out for routine cleaning as well, so you can get to your gas rings inside. Now, with that said, how many parts do you have? You have roughly two parts, depending on if you're breaking the springs down. You have the bolt carrier. You have your firing pin retaining pin right here. Your firing pin. That's roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 parts in this section here. Not including 6, 7 parts right here. With the CZ, as you see, it's just 1, 2, 3. Basically, that's all there is, you know, just for routine cleaning. So this might be something that you might want to consider when purchasing this particular firearm. They have good points on both ends. The reason why this has a little bit more of a parts with this, because this is a gas piston system versus your blowback system. I'm going to get these back together and then finish up. Okay, folks, I'm back. Finally got these back together. Good thing I didn't do this on camera. I looked mighty stupid. But both of these particular firearms are very, very excellent firearms, and I like them both. What's interesting about both of them is that, let's starting with the CZ here. This has been used in other countries as far as policing, and as well as some other military places in other countries. And that's the application. So it's been a tried and true firearm that was out in the field. The other one is basically particularly the MPX. The MPX basically is, I don't know its history, whether or not it has been used in some type of military or police type of incidents. So I can't even comment on that, but I do know that its little brother, the Copperhead, is being looked at for VIP protection for the military at this point. Now, some of the similarities between these two firearms, both are approximately have 8-inch barrels, with the CZ being short about a half an inch, which is not a big deal. It's not that much of a big deal with that. A lot of people like both of these firearms as suppressor hosts. They are very good. Like I mentioned, it's easy to set up for that. Also, that both of these pistols have a variety of braces that could come out with different style braces. One was the telescopic, or you can come with the folding brace right here. Also, with these, a lot of people like to SBR these particular firearms and I prefer to keep them in the pistol configuration, but a lot of people do that. That would be a choice up to you. Both are 9mm, and they're really fun to shoot. And the thing about both of these, you can't lose with either one of these firearms. They are extremely accurate. They're very, very accurate. Just for example, taking both of these out to the range, 15 yards, you can blow out the red X ring with no problems at 15 yards. So they're basically tack drivers. Now, the differences basically between the two, a lot of people will consider price, because basically the CZ is going to be the bargain one. And what's good about the CZ that I like is you can customize it to the way you want it to be. Like I've added these grips here to cover up the Picatinny rails right here, and I could take these all, put them on, and put other attachments on in the future. But it allows me to get a decent grip. Of course, magazines are plentiful. This is a 30-rounder. You can change your grips to whatever you like, because that original grip was horrible. And the other part that people complain about is the safety. I changed my safety on here where you're able to actuate the safety and not have your knuckle being torn up under firing. And speaking of that, a part of that to me is due to the blowback design. The blowback design I'm not going to say harsh, but it's there, and you can feel that against your knuckle. As opposed to the MPX, this has that gas piston design. So this has its safeties here. This one is a little longer on this side, and you have a shorter safety here. Either way, if you were a left-handed person who was shooting, I don't think you would have an issue, because the blowback design, and as I showed you with both firearms broken down, you saw the dual springs that were in this firearm, which aids in the gas piston carrying that bolt back. So it's pretty much mutes recoil and anything else. So it's a pleasure to shoot. So you won't have that issue when it comes to your finger or your knuckle being irritated. The other advantage that the MPX has, its ability to change out calibers, because like you see here, it's stated here for multi-caliber, so that can go anywhere between 940 and 357 SIG, and whatever SIG decides to do. And it will accept the same magazine for all those calibers, which I've read recently. These are the Gen 2 magazines from SIG Sauer. Now the big question is, which one should you pick? Which one you should buy? As you see, I have both because I like both, because they have different qualities that I like about them, different things that you can do with them, especially with the customization of the CZ Scorpion. With here, it's pretty much what you see is what you get, unless you're really into suppressors and want to change out a lot of things that will work or change calibers. And of course, you have your options of changing the brace, just like you do with the CZ. But the one thing that I would base this on, your price would be your biggest influence with this firearm here. The price is the number one thing, and that's why people are saying, well, why would I buy a SIG if I can buy a CZ that's cheaper? But it's up to you what you want to do, what application you want to apply this to. Now, regarding the SIG, what I like about this is its familiarity with the AR-15 platform. So you AR guys are not going to have pretty much an issue. You may just have to adjust with the dual recoil spring, but that's a no-brainer pretty much. The other advantage is changing your trigger pack. Your trigger pack, you can change the Geisley triggers and so forth. I don't deal with triggers, so you can't take my word for how to install or any other changes with that, but I know people that run different trigger packs in this. And also SIG warns you about certain trigger packs that you have to put in here. But for the money, I think that this is a very good firearm. I really like the quality of it. And like I said, that recoil impulse is pretty much muted. So all in all, it depends on what you want to do, how you want to do it. Basically, I like both. I cannot complain on either platform. Before I had the money for this, I got this, and I don't feel as though there's pretty much of a difference in performance, but I will say they're both well made. You cannot lose with either one of them. So that's all I have to say about these two firearms, folks, in its comparison. The choice is yours, and happy shooting, #2A.